First Fox News national poll since the debate. It shows Donald Trump trailing Hillary Clinton by 5 points in a two-way matchup. Joining me to discuss what's the political fallout now, GOP strategist Ford O'Connell, political analyst Gina Loudon, and Democratic pollster and strategist Jessica Tarlov. All right, Gina, got to start with you. This sort of dovetails with some of the other polls I've been seeing the last 24, 48 hours. Do you take it seriously? And if you do take it seriously, what does it mean for the Trump campaign?
Well, I think this is right where Donald Trump always shines, and that's when he's underestimated. We've seen it repeat itself over and over again. We have to remember he's new to this process, and most of us watching him are pretty amazed with what he's pulled off, being a complete outsider and taking on the greatest establishment hack in our history, Hillary Clinton. But I'm encouraged when I look at statistics like the fact that most Americans, Charles, do not believe we are on the right path under the Obama and Clinton administration. And I know that psychologically, fear is the greatest motivator when it comes to actual voter turnout. I think this works to Mr. Trump's favor.
Well, having said that, Ford, is there any fear in the Trump camp right now that that amazing momentum that he had might have stalled?
Well, I don't think, here's what happened. I don't think that Clinton stalled Trump's momentum. Trump stalled his own momentum because he keeps falling basically for Clinton's traps. Understand something else. I agree with Gina that fear is the most powerful emotion in politics, but only 43% of likely voters can see Donald Trump is president of the United States. As such, the only way he's going to improve that number is by having two great debate performances, because essentially that's when millions of people are watching. So it's all going to be about the next couple of debates, because it comes back to, can you see Donald Trump in the White House? That's what he's got to overcome.
Of course, the flip side of that, Jessica, is that Hillary Clinton has been in this position before. She's even had much larger leads, and she's always kind of put it in neutral, you know, and it's caught up to her along with the news cycle. And it feels like in the last 24 hours, she's gotten a little bit too giddy. She's gotten a little bit too confident, and I think that's hurt her.
You don't
already.
like all the shimmying stuff that's floating around on the internet?
I'm one of those guys, you know, when I'm watching a basketball game and the team is losing by 20 and the guy makes a shot and he gets fouled and starts talking smack and then misses the free throw. I'm like, you know, in other words, it's, you don't want to count your chickens too early.
No, and I don't think that she has. And I agree that the next two debates will matter a lot. I thought that Donald Trump did pretty well for himself and actually exceeded expectations and even won the first 20 minutes of it. But what I would say, there's some important things in this poll just beyond the numbers, you know, who's ahead. And talking about enthusiasm is a really big deal. Suddenly, Hillary Clinton supporters are more enthusiastic than Donald Trump supporters about their candidate. And also the number one quality people are looking for now, good temperament ahead of strong leader.
Although, Jessica,
and that favors Hillary Clinton.
I've seen legions of people wait outside in the rain to hear Donald Trump speak.
Just because someone goes to a concert
and they lay out cookies and milk and chocolate cake in a gymnasium and get and they still can't get people to fill up a few dozen folding chairs.
I really don't think, I mean, we'll see what happens, but this idea that because you have a lot of people at your rallies means they're going to vote is ridiculous. Look what happened to Bernie Sanders.
So you mean if I stand out in the rain for 4 hours to watch a man speak, I'm not going to go vote for him?
Those 15,000 people that showed up at a Donald Trump rally, I'm sure, Ford, please just let me finish. Maybe, 12,000 of them turn out to vote. I don't know what goes on that day for them. But for you to say that because Hillary Clinton supporters aren't out screaming in the rain that they're not going to turn out for a candidate that they are now more enthusiastic about than Donald Trump supporters, it's not fair.
Well, I think it's, you know, I wouldn't say it's rather fair or unfair. I just call it common sense, Gina. I mean, listen, we know there's an enthusiasm gap.
What about Bernie Sanders?
We know there's an enthusiasm gap. Let me ask Gina about this, though. Gina, listen, we know there's an enthusiasm gap, and that might be the one thing that you can't capture that in these polls.
This poll doesn't have it that way, though.
Gina?
Yeah, you can't capture it. You're absolutely right, Charles. You can't capture it. You also can't transfer it, as I think that Hillary's been trying to do with Bernie voters. It's not going to work that way. I'm also very encouraged by the fact that Mr. Trump still holds a very strong lead with independent voters, and I think that's going to play well for him as well. So I think a lot is yet to be seen. Absolutely, I agree with Jessica. He needs to focus on his actual turnout at the polls. That's what's going to do it all. And we know the Democrats have quite a machine in place. But I will say I've seen some great strides in the GOP working on this for months and months. I know Mr. Trump knows how important this is. I know how motivated his base is, and I think he'll pull it off.
You know, let me ask you this, Ford. There's a lot of skepticism amongst Republican voters, particularly those that back Trump. They don't like these polls. They think they're skewed. And I will tell you that our poll has 42% Democrats, 38% Republicans. The last time our poll went out, it had 40% Democrats. So I'm not sure why we have 2 percentage points more Democrats than Republicans, but Does that add some credence to the fact that maybe these polls are more politically motivated rather than taking a pulse of the election, maybe try to sway the election?
Well, people are going to believe what they want to believe. We've heard about skewed polls over and over, but understand the crowning point here, Charles. Who wins and loses this election may depend on who doesn't turn out versus who does. The big question right now is what the turnout is, and when it comes to millennials and certain minority voters, trust me, the Hillary Clinton campaign is in panic mode.
Are they in panic mode, Jessica?
No, I think that they're just taking it incredibly seriously. You know, after his debate performance that he has spent the entirety of this week, including getting up in the middle of the night to go on a rant about a sex tape that no one can find, just shows that he is not temperamentally fit to be president.
No,
Gina,
it shows, Jessica, that he'll be up to take the 3 a.m.
Oh my
call
God,
from
I know
Benghazi.
that's in the talking points.
That
Gina,
he actually
I know.
doesn't sleep away most of his life.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Hillary Clinton slept away most of her life. You guys are going to such a considerable length
Hillary
to
Clinton
defend
let me make one point. Hillary Clinton
please.
is no Barack Obama, and she's having troubles reassembling the Obama coalition. And if she continues to have troubles, Donald Trump's going to be the 45th
Right.
president of the United
And to
States.
that point, by the way, they're deploying President Obama to Miami next week. So again, even though she's got momentum, turnout is going to be critical, and it's a big question mark at this point. Guys, thank you all very much.
Thanks.
Coming up.